Welcome to the Big T Energy Podcast. I'm Amandine, here with Nadia and Natalie. We're your hosts, and today we're spilling the tea on everything from the latest gossip to the biggest headline. So grab a drink, get comfy, and sit back, because this tea is hot.
Don't be obsessive, it could be intensive, it could be explosive, it could be offensive. Don't be defensive, don't be aggressive, it will be a waste cause we could be expensive.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Big T Energy Podcast with me, Nadia.
And me, Natalie.
And me, Amandine.
So, it's heat wave in Europe. It's extremely hot. I'm sweating my tits off. How about you guys?
I'm not just sweating my tits off, I'm sweating my clit off. It's horrible.
It's so good.
It's so fucking hot in Spain. I can't. It's like...
Yeah, Spain is even worse than the Netherlands, I heard.
Yeah, we have we're hitting 40s on the daily, and I live in a wooden house, and it's like a Swedish sauna.
Love it. Love it. All right, before we dive into the topics, do you guys have any updates from when was the last time we had an episode? 2 weeks ago? There were some juicy details then. Do we have any updates from you girls?
Natalie had some juicies.
It's far from fucking juicy.
What has happened with
Mr. Curacao?
He ghosted me, that little douche.
Douche?
Yeah, douche.
Oh, well, that's good, because for once I have a douche of the week real early on.
Well, to be fair, honestly, I don't care that he ghosted me. I probably would have cared if we would have talked a lot and I would have gotten to know him and liked him, but we didn't. So it's fine that he ghosted me, but still a douche.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I was also ghosted.
By who?
By this young D from this place I know, remember? I don't want to get too specific, although nobody's going to listen to it. Actually, I don't care. No, actually, I do care. Yeah, but because I don't think I gave an update on that. I don't think it was 2 weeks ago. But basically, I had a couple of glasses of wine one night and I got really brave. And I messaged this guy who's, I think, inappropriately young. He's legal, just saying, totally legal. And he gives me looks sometimes. I feel like there's been a vibe. Anyways, I messaged him and he DM'd me back at 3 a.m., which I thought was promising. And then I DM'd him back. It was pretty boring conversation so far. And then he never replied to me.
When was this?
At the weekend.
What is it with these men?
You know what?
Yeah, I don't get it. In that case, you don't want to message me. Don't reply to the first message.
Yeah.
Like with you, Natalie.
I don't know. Like, I'm the queen of ghosting, to be honest. When I'm single, I love ghosting. No, it's not that I love it, but it happens, right? Because it's the easy way out.
Yes.
Last time I was single and there was a guy hitting on me in my DMs, and I thought, this is really annoying. I don't want to talk to him anymore. I'm just going to ghost him. Then I thought, okay, I'm going to be honest. So I was honest with him. I'm like, listen, I'm not feeling it. You know, I'm kind of seeing someone else. That was bullshit, but you know. And he was like, oh, thank you for telling me. I really appreciate it, you know, and just instead of just ghosting me, you know. And I'm like, oh, that felt nice, you know.
I mean,
I tried that.
Right? Technically.
What did you say?
It's the mature thing to do.
Yeah. But
It is
ghosting is so much easier.
Yeah, it is the mature thing to do. And I tried it, but it didn't work. They just kept on going. So eventually I was like, okay, fuck it then I'll just ghost you so you get the memo.
We blocked them.
One guy still didn't get the memo 1 year later, and he kept messaging me like once per month, like, hello, how's it going? I'm like seriously, just fuck off.
The best is when some dude who ghosted you on a dating app, I've deleted all dating apps, by the way, they message you like a year later, like, hey, how's it going? It's like, fuck you.
What? No.
But I did have a bit of an exciting update, as I've been flirting with a delivery guy from my village.
The postman?
And he's super cute. Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's super cute, and he's the one who messaged me. And I was thinking the other day, if I get this delivery guy again, I might make a move and be brave. And then I got him again, and then he messaged me, and that was cute. And now we've been messaging, and he keeps giving me compliments. So it's cringe, but I like it.
Cute. How tall is he?
Oh, he's tall. I don't know how tall he is, but he's tall.
He's Spanish.
Okay.
He was born in Spain from Latino parents from Latin America. And he's lived between Spain and there, and he's been back for a few years.
So passionate guy.
Yeah.
He seems definitely passionate,
Is
and
it,
I like it.
has
So
it
has some
turned
passionate
into,
sex.
Has it turned into sexting yet, or?
No, it has not. It has not, but we might see each other tomorrow at the pool.
Oh, at the pool. That's brave.
I know, right? But
First date.
because no, it's not first day because he's gonna be working. But he said if I've delivered all my packages, I can come and say hi.
Oh my God.
And because he delivered my last package at my friend's place, who I go to for swimming, and I picked up my package, my bikini top, and just my what's that called? That thing that you put on to cover your butt.
A sarong or something?
Sarang.
Oh yeah.
So I had just that on, and to be honest, I didn't even think about it because we were like, "Oh my God, delivery, quick!" Like boom. And then he messaged me, so obviously he liked what he saw, right?
Yeah.
He did ask me how old I am, and I totally didn't reply because I do feel he's very young.
But that's when they hit you with that question at first, I have the feeling they know you're older, but
Yeah,
they don't know how much older. So they're like, okay, is this appropriate or not?
Of course he knows because he has eyes. And also, as soon as you get talking to somebody, like people are not dumb when you talk about what you've done in your life, what you do in life, where you've been. They put two and two together. And if you're like, oh, I lived at this place for this many years, you can't be 22, right?
No.
But you don't look your age anyway, so you could definitely think you're younger.
We'll see. So, that's a great reminder because I have a question for you two. Do I lie about my age if he brings it up, or did you say yeah? Of course she did.
It depends if you want something serious. If not, if you don't want anything serious, lie about your age. Who cares?
I don't want anything serious with this
Are
guy.
you sure you don't want anything serious?
With him? No.
Postman?
No, never say never. I'm a romantic like that, but I highly doubt it. I would love a little fun.
Yeah.
And then you end up together, he proposes everything, and he still doesn't know your age.
He's like, at the altar, he's like, I thought you were 30.
They don't tell your name at the altar. They don't give your date.
I don't know.
Amandine, born on. You lied to me? No, but obviously I would have to come clean, but I'll see if he brings it up again, but it's pretty obvious that I avoided the question. And I haven't asked the question because I don't really want to know, to be honest. I just know he's legal for sure because he drives a car.
Yeah, and I mean, Nadia's been lying about her age before to her friends.
Yeah.
And then they actually turned into being like longtime friends. So at some point she had to come clean.
Oh my God.
No, but like still today, like the friend from last week, and he's like, you're blah, blah, right? Like 3 years younger than I am right now, he said. I'm like, no, I'm this. He's like, oh, because I've been lying so much about my age, and this is like a friendship of many years, so they still don't know.
You told him the truth.
Yeah. But sometimes when they bring it up, they're like, yeah, but you're like this old. And I'm like, and it's always younger than what I told them.
Oh, yeah. But we have said our age on the podcast before, Nadia.
Yeah, it's like the first episode or second or something.
You guys haven't said your age. We've said that we're all in our 30s.
No, the first episode or something. So if people really want to know, you can go back, but please don't.
Yeah, you can. I'm sure we said our age because we talked about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to post it on our socials.
Let's not.
No.
All right.
You can post that Nadia lies about her age, though.
Got it.
Yeah, okay.
We'll check back in 2 weeks and see what happened.
What happened at the pool?
Yeah, if you got some D.
That's a little bit sexy, though. Let's see. Okay. So there's something I wanted to actually bring up or talk about in this podcast. And it's been quite hot on social media. And there was a documentary, where was it? On HBO or Amazon Prime?
Yeah, HBO.
HBO. That came out like 2 weeks ago or something. And it's a documentary about Karen Reed. And I would recommend everyone to see it. It was really good. And the story is really messed up. Me and Natalie saw it. Amandine, you haven't seen it yet.
No, so I need you to tell me all the
Yeah.
details, please.
So I'll run through the story shortly, and then we can get into the details a little bit because it's a really complicated case, sort of. Okay, but so Karen Reed, so let's go back to 2020. In 2020, she met a guy named John O'Keefe, who was then a police officer at the Boston Police Department in Massachusetts. They met in 2020 and they started dating. And in 2022, they went out for drinks with some friends. And I need to say as well that their relationship, so 2 years something, it was quite a troubled relationship, more or less. So there was a lot of infidelity, arguments and so on. And this is from witnesses, and Karen has said it herself as well. A lot of jealousy. So in 2022, they went out for drinks with some friends. And some of the friends were also police officers. So they went to a few bars, got quite drunk, and then one of their friends invited them to kind of like an after party or after hangout, whatever, at his house, his and his wife's house. And this guy was also a police officer at the Boston Police Department. So Karen drives herself and John, her boyfriend then, to the house. And she was also drunk while driving. So she drives them to the house. And when they arrive at the house, and this is where the story gets a little bit iffy, but according to her, she thought the house looked quite dark, that there's no one in there. So she tells John to go inside to kind of see, okay, is someone there, see if we're welcome, blah, blah, blah. He gets out of the car, and mind you, they're both quite drunk at this point. He gets out of the car, and according to her, he goes into the house. She sits and waits in the car for a little bit, for a few minutes, whatever. He doesn't come back. So she gets quite upset, drunk and angry, whatever. He doesn't come back. So she takes off with the car and goes back to John's house, so the boyfriend's house. So she leaves him there, goes back to the house. And this was right after around 12 a.m., so midnight, sometime around there. She goes back to his house, and there's proof that she arrived at his house because she was connected to the Wi-Fi around 12:40 at night or something like that. So she goes back. And then she starts texting him and calling him and leaving voice messages, like very angry and blaming him and for using her and all this, extremely angry. So they play these tapes in court as well to prove that she was very violent, whatever, Around 1 a.m. something, that's when the call stopped to him. So she falls asleep, wakes up again around 4 a.m., 4:30, something like that. And she noticed that he's still not there. He's still not home. And there's no calls, nothing from him. So that's when she grows a little bit worried. And she calls another friend. I say friend because, it was a friend of John, apparently. And they didn't seem to really like her. But this was another woman that was at the after party or at the house. So she calls her and says that John hasn't come home yet and that she's really worried that something happened, So this woman she calls, I think it was her sister, who was also, I'm not sure if her sister was also at the party, but one of the women were at the party. So she calls her. They come, those two women, they go to pick up Karen. And this was around 4:30, 4:45, something at night. They go to pick her up in the middle of the night to kind of drive around looking for John. And also one important point to mention is that when Karen, because I think they took Karen's car, and there's a ring camera when Karen leaves around 4:30 at night, when she backs up the car and she hits John's car. You can see it on the ring camera, and that piece of evidence is important for the story as well. So she hits the car a little bit. You can see the motion of John's car in the back. Anyways, they leave. They go looking for John. And there was also like a big storm, snowstorm throughout the night. So it was very bad view and everything. They go looking for John and they go back to the house where the after party was, because that's the last place that Karen saw him, right? And apparently, and this is according to witnesses, so the two women that came with her, they say in the car that Karen was like, how do you say, like out of her mind, Obviously, your boyfriend is missing, he's not replying, whatever, she's distraught, whatever. She was like screaming, and allegedly they were saying that I hit him, like with the car. That's what these two women are saying that she was saying, right? So that's another piece of information or that's important to know. Anyway, they go back to the house. And mind you, that night or that day was a very bad sight. It was a big storm, snowstorm and everything. So they go back to the house. The two women say they can't see nothing. And as soon as I stop the car, Karen says, John is right there. And they're like, huh? We can see nothing, you know. She gets out of the car and runs to the front lawn of the house where John is lying unconscious. And he was lying in the snow with like lacerations on his arms and blood coming out of his nose and fucked up eye and all of that, you know, unconscious. So the police is called, everything, and according to when the police comes and the ambulance comes and everything, there's other witnesses saying that she was screaming and saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, you know. But one important information here as well, you have these dash cams, right? The police have dash cams. So when the police arrives, you can hear on the dash cam, there's not one point where you can hear her saying this, right? You could hear her screaming and being distraught, but you can't hear her saying, I hit him or I did it, you know? But that's what these witnesses are saying. And the witnesses are all connected to the police. So their husbands or whatever are connected to somehow to the police department. Yeah, so they pick him up. He was unconscious, and then he was declared around 7 a.m., 8 a.m. at the hospital dead. And he died from impact injuries to the head, laceration to the back of his head, skull fractures, a cut above his eye, abrasions on his nose and arm, 2 black eyes, and scratches on his legs. So the biggest one, like being a blow to the head then. And they were saying that this looks like somebody, how do you call it, backed up with a car on him, and that's how he died, by like a blunt force from a car or something. That's what these witnesses were saying at that point. And that's where the story gets a bit iffy as well, because there's contradicting stories. Karen says she saw him walk into the house. She left. She went back to his house and went to sleep. The people in the house say he never came in the house. He was never there. And there's text messages from one of the women that went back to Karen and helped her look for John. She had texted John right when they pulled up to the driveway saying, are you coming in? And then a few minutes later, hello, and nothing. So she says he never came in the house. And the people in the house say he never came in the house. So they haven't seen him, so they have no idea what happened. And yeah, that's where the story is really. And there's a lot of contradicting during the trials. Well, the trial started actually in 2024, and then it was in the end it went to a mistrial. So then they had to wait a whole year. So this, I think it was in April 2025 this year, they started the trial again. And in the end, she was declared.
Should you say what the verdict or what? I kind of want to hear from Amandine what she thinks.
Oh yeah. But there's a few more details that maybe you need to know as well. Like
there's way more details, like things that happened. But just from hearing the story, I'm curious to hear what Amandine thinks. Like, did she do it?
I don't know. I can tell that Nadia thinks she didn't do it and that she's been set up because of the way she's telling the story. Well, the things, but I don't know. I need more information.
Yeah.
I have questions.
The thing is, like, when I watch, it's very hard to wrap your head around it and just to tell the story. You really need to watch the documentary. But when I watched the documentary, at first, my gut feelings said she did it. Just because of her mannerisms in court and everything. She was stone cold in court. She didn't cry. You know, they caught her laughing at points and looking back at her family and being very involved when the witnesses were taking stand, and she felt like they were lying. She would look back at her family and like be like doing this and stuff like that, being angry. Not once did you see her cry or anything, because this was broadcasted as well, the whole court thing. So I thought her mannerisms were really off. And granted, it had been 2 years since he died. So everyone processed pain in their own way. And she might have gone through it all, and they didn't have the best relationship. There were infidelities and jealousy and all that. And she did seem quite because they showed a lot of messages that she had sent him beforehand as well. And she was very jealous and all of that. So, according to her, the relationship wasn't that good anyway. So she might have processed everything in those 2 years, but still have some respect in court, that his family is there and whatnot.
You know what this reminds me of? That case with Rosa, I can't remember her name, in the Guardia Civil in Barcelona,
Yeah.
It reminds me of that because when you said specifically how she acted in court, they really used that woman's, personality and even her like romantic history, like against her to portray her as this thing while there was really no concrete evidence, but they made her into this thing so that it means that she's guilty. But what does the evidence say?
So, yeah.
That's where it gets a little bit weird, to be honest. And I gotta say as well, like the documentary doesn't cover every single thing of the very weird investigation. I did some digging and found out some stuff where I was like, what the fuck? Because, okay, first of all, so he was found on the front lawn of, his name is Brian Albert. He's also a police officer at the Boston Police Department. When you find a body, when obviously there were cops coming, there were probably noise, there were lights and all of that shit. Humans are nosy, right? So if you hear cops coming and you see the lights and there's a whole thing happening outside on your fucking front lawn, you would go out and look what's happening, right?
Yeah, and especially if you're the police yourself, which he was, the owner, he was police, and he did not go out of his house to look, what's going on?
No.
Nothing.
He didn't.
And the question in court, he was like, no, but, I trusted they knew what they were doing. And like, dude, this is, you're a police officer. If there's shit going on your front lawn, you go out and check. But no, they stayed inside.
Even if you're not a police officer, that does seem shady. Yeah. But what time was this?
All of this happened. So they went back to the house at around, when was it, 5:30 a.m., something like that. They arrived, and that's when they found John dead on the front lawn.
Yeah. And the investigation, so they did find, we can go into details about the findings because it's also weird, the whole how they found everything. But Karen Reed had a broken taillight on her car. And at the scene, they found pieces of a broken taillight. And they also found some blood. But when the cops came, first of all, they did not secure the area. If there's a crime scene or something, you would normally, I mean, I'm not a cop, but you would secure the area with the tape and all of that shit. You would probably call in backup. They would collect the evidence, but the taillights were not found immediately.
No, it was found later because of the snowstorm and everything.
Exactly. And the blood that was found, they did not have anything to put it in. So they went and asked, I don't know if it was Brian Albert's house or if it was someone else, but they went and asked for red Solo cups. They got red Solo cups, like these red cups that, like these one-time use cups that you like drink beer from. And they collected the blood in those cups. No interviews, no recordings of any interviews, video or audio. No one was questioned. The neighbors had Ring cameras. They did not go and talk to the neighbors and ask for the footage from the Ring cameras. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Did an investigator or forensics team ever come into your house to search for physical evidence?
No.
Did an investigator or a forensics team ever come into your house to search for trace evidence?
No.
So that's already a little bit weird. So when I first heard about the taillights, I immediately thought, well, that's kind of weird. She has a broken taillight. They find the pieces where his body was. So, I mean, when you hear about that, it kind of tells you like, okay, maybe she did it.
And like, remember, Madine, when I told you that when she went to look for John late or early in the morning, around 4 or 5, she got caught on the Ring cam of his house, backing up her car, and she bumped his car, and you could see the motion, right? So her defense team were saying the broken taillight is from there. And that made me think as well, but it does, that could be true. But then I thought maybe she's just like playing it off. Like she knew she drove him over with the car and she wants to make it look like, that broken taillight happened from her backing up. Who knows? But they also, from the very moment, the police were very much blaming this on her. Like she has a broken taillight. They took her car in, and they started investigating it. And the cameras, when they're so they have cameras, right, when they're doing the investigation at the office or whatever. And the cameras were pointed in a way that you could not see the broken taillight. So whatever the officers were doing on the other side of the car, you could not see, which is very little bit sus, but okay. So the defense team were saying, okay, they were behind there, maybe doing something shady, maybe breaking it, you know, and they're planting evidence. That was the whole thing. They're planting evidence because someone, Brian, or whatever his name was, who owned the house, maybe something happened there and they're trying to cover it up and the whole police force is behind it. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time the police is doing something shady like this to blame it on someone else.
Yeah, because I might as well add, when it comes to taillights as well, as we said earlier, they were not found during the initial search. They found the pieces after they took possession of her car. That's when they started finding these taillight pieces. And it took them 3 weeks to find all of the pieces. And as I understand it, one guy found all of the bottom pieces, another guy found all of the top pieces, and one guy found all of the middle pieces, which just, I'm sorry, but what? Like, that's just...
Also, I mean, like you said, it was found later. So anybody between that first search and that second, third, fourth search, anybody could have picked up, not even there at the scene when the officers are there, but anybody could have just put them there.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And another thing that I missed as well, because I told you earlier that the whole investigation was shit from start, that they did not secure the area. Anyone could have walked in. They didn't question anyone, nothing. And they did find a broken glass as well. And I mean, normally you probably would check, where did this glass come from, right?
So
Could it belong to one of the neighbors?
Next to his body, they found like a cocktail glass, right? And it could be that he brought it from the bar, or he could have brought it from inside the house that he allegedly went into. But they didn't do further investigation, which was also very sus. And there's so many pieces of evidence, like... One is, for example, around 12:30, 1 a.m. something. So when he was supposedly already had gone into the house, one of the women who went to help Karen to look for John, she had Googled how long to die in snow. And you can extract these pieces of evidence from your Google search, right? So she had Googled that around 1 a.m. or something, and that already is sus. But, you know, technology...
Yes, but, I mean, I don't know anything about this. I haven't seen it, but my brain straight away went for, if I'm looking for my friend or my boyfriend or whatever, and they're missing, and we've been drinking and stuff, and there's a snowstorm, I'd be like, oh my God, I hope they didn't, like, fall unconscious outside, and how long would they be able to stay alive? And
yeah, but... This was before, so around 1 a.m., Karen had already went home to sleep, right? And...
this was before she went out to search for him.
Exactly. But then again, the same woman, she Googled the same thing around 5 a.m. when they found him, you know? So then she Googled again the same sentence. So I think that piece of evidence is like, okay, well, I don't trust technology that much. I don't know how... truthful it is. I mean, you Google it twice, you Google it once at 1 a.m. Okay, that's very sus, but she Googled the same thing at 5 a.m. And they're saying, well, I mean, it could be the same, just the same browser that it popped up at 5 a.m. I don't know, you know?
I don't think so.
Small correction though, she Googled it at 2:27 a.m. and then again later in the morning. Yeah. But the way they tried to explain this was that she had already had that tab open and she opened it at 2:27 a.m. And that's why it shows that she Googled this at 2:27 a.m. Now, I'm not that tech savvy, so I know whether that's true or not, but they focused very hard on proving that she did not Google this at 2:27 a.m.
But why did she open that tab again? Closed it? Even if
she was Googling something else at 2:27 a.m. and then again in the morning she went to the same tab and just Googled. Then she actually Googled the how long to.
Oh, she wouldn't have Googled it at 2:27. I mean, I'm also not a tech genius, but I don't think that's how browser history works.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels very iffy, to be honest. And also, that woman's name, she's Jennifer McCabe. So she was a friend of John O'Keefe. She was the sister-in-law of Brian Albert, which was the house of where he was found dead on the front lawn. So sister-in-law to Brian Albert and friend of John O'Keefe. And when they found his body, she was the one who called the cops, right?
No, police is court line. What is your emergency?
Yes, I need someone to come to 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Mass. There's a man passed out in the snow.
And if it's your friend lying unconscious in the snow, you would probably be quite emotional when you call the cops. And maybe you would even mention to them, this is a police officer being unconscious.
And my friend.
Yeah, and my friend. But she's like very calm, and she's saying, there's a man in the snow, unresponsive.
Yeah, because that's probably her professional training, no?
I don't think if she's not a cop or something, what I know of.
Oh, she's not?
No, her
that's
brother.
why. And she knew at that point that it was her friend.
Yeah. And that is also weird to me that she's so calm during the conversation and just saying, there's a man unresponsive in the snow. I think he might be dead.
Yeah.
And not being like emotional, freaking out, like, oh, my friend is unresponsive in the snow. He's a police officer. Please send help, blah, 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 blah. Like,
yeah.
It's just a very weird reaction.
There was also, and I don't know the timestamps, maybe you do, Natalie, but there was also a lot of calls between these, the people at the party. There was a lot of calls throughout the night, like short calls between them. And there was suspicious timestamps on them. And the defense is saying, okay, like what happened here? You call each other, short calls, like few seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. And all of them that made these calls, literally all of them, I think there were 2, 3, or 4 of them that had these short calls between them. They said, oh, it was just butt dials. And the defense is like, huh? So, okay, if one butt dials the other, but then the other butt dials you back, that's makes no sense, you know? Like, why? Yeah. So that was another thing, like a lot of calls between them, you know? And why would you call each other middle of the night unless something is going on, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, but why would they kill him?
There's some theories online.
What's the best one?
Well, but I think the way they tried to put it in court is that a fight or something happened inside, and Brian Albert and his family also had a dog, which could explain the wounds on his arms, that it could be from bite marks from that dog, and that, yeah, he died, and then they just dumped him outside and tried to either mess the whole investigation up, or they didn't think it would become this big of a thing. But then I seen some rumors online as well, but those are rumors, so we don't know if they're true. But one rumor is that I don't know who from the group, but someone from the group was involved in drugs and selling drugs, and John O'Keefe knew about it, so he confronted them, and that's why the fight happened. But then I think Karen Reed was also quite flirty with one of the guys from the group.
Yeah, with Brian, who owned the house, right, that they went to.
Was it him, though?
Yeah, it was him, and they're saying, at least that's what I read, so the big guy with the no hair, I think, who was in court, who took the witness stand. So they were saying that, so they had a flirtatious kind of infidelity, if you want to call it like that, over text while she was with John. And they're saying that's the reason why she didn't want to go in the house. She felt uncomfortable, and that's why she left, but John went in. But another piece of evidence that's very suspicious as well. So the house that Brian lived in, that they all went to for the after party, they sold the house. I don't know when, but they sold it after what happened with John, and they got rid of the dog shortly after.
Yes, they got rid of the dog. They replaced the floor in the basement, completely remodeled, and sold the house under market value. And it was also a house that had been in the family for generations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they murdered him.
And
What about the blunt force trauma to the head? Could that be caused from a fight?
yeah, so first they were saying, oh no, it's caused by her hitting him with the car. But they had several people take the witness stand, professionals, saying that this is impossible. This is not from a car, you know. The lacerations on the arms looks like bite marks from a dog. And the blunt force trauma could be anything from a object or something, you know.
One hitting him, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also, so shortly after the whole investigation started, right, they asked for the people that were involved in the house for their phone records and everything. So Brian, who owned the house, he got rid of his phone shortly after. Literally, like, he took his phone, and the whole story is so weird. He took the witness stand and he said he drove somewhere. He was just out driving and he wanted to get a new phone, so he got a new phone, and then he stopped at somewhere and just threw his phone away. So they were not able to check his phone for evidence, nothing. Yeah, as you do as a police officer as well. He was a police officer, so he got rid of any evidence.
Definitely guilty, that guy, or he's protecting someone.
Right?
I think it wasn't just him that got rid of his phone. There was someone else as well. And I don't know if it was Brian or someone who it was, but someone dumped their phone at a military base because the cops cannot go there and search.
Yeah.
Then you drove to a military base and you threw both the destroyed SIM card and the phone into a dumpster, did you not?
Well, I was cutting through the base, and I believe how I testified
Did you drive to a military base, sir?
I was cutting through a base, yes.
Did you drive to it?
Yes, sir.
And then you put both the destroyed SIM card and the phone itself, which were in a trash bag, into a dumpster on that military base, did you not?
I believe that's what I did, yes.
That was Brian, I think, yeah. Yeah.
Which is like just screaming fucking guilty. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But the whole thing is like, you know, in the end, I mean, now we can say like 2 weeks ago, she was declared not guilty. And she was, let me check, in the end, she was facing 3 major charges of manslaughter, leaving scene of an accident, and motor vehicle homicide. And she was acquitted from all of them. I think she got driving under the influence, but that's it.
Yeah.
But there's no further investigation into what the fuck happened, you know, because of course the police is in the whole fucking police department is involved now, and yeah, we're probably never gonna know the answer to this. But the whole case was just so sus.
The more you look into it, the more stuff you find as well. But definitely the phone thing and selling the house are the 2 major red flags for me. Also the fact that Brian Albert, they had a party at his house. Everyone left the party and no one saw the dead man on the front lawn or their friend lying in the snow. And another important piece as well, as I understand it, he lost a lot of blood. But the blood they found on the scene was not equivalent to the amount that he lost. So where the fuck did the blood go? Obviously,
So he was
cannot say, but probably it went to Brian Albert's basement floor. That's why he replaced the floor. Like,
yeah, but also that night, and I don't know the timestamp, sorry, but what do you call these guys that plow snow?
Oh,
So
yes.
there was a snowstorm, as I mentioned before. So he was, this was like way after 1 a.m., I think, sometime after Karen had gone home already. He went to plow the snow early in the morning, and he's very familiar with that area. He knows the people living there. He knows Brian. He knows his house and everything. And he said, the one thing that I look for when I'm plowing snow is that there's no objects in the way, you know, because I'm very... You know, he needs to be sure. So he was plowing the snow and he said he did not see a body lying on that front lawn. He would have seen it. He did not see it.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
Also, if that body had been there and it's in the middle of a snowstorm, the snow would have covered the body, you know? So nobody would have seen it for days.
I think at the beginning of the night, the snowstorm wasn't that bad. It got worse more towards the morning, but I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
But yeah, no, the whole case is just so fucking sus.
Yeah.
And of course, they're not going to look into it anymore because there's other cops involved.
Yeah. And one of them even got fired, the lead investigator, because when they looked into his phone records and everything, it turned out that he had been discussing the case with his buddies in a group chat, saying that she's a fucking slut and calling her names and we don't have enough evidence to put her away, but I really want to put her away and blah, blah. She did it, this and this and that. You know, he was talking very, very bad about her and just being very sus in general. And they say that he was the one who was involved in planting evidence and whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a messed up story. There's a lot of pieces of evidence that never really got anywhere. And it's too bad because I really want to know what happened.
Same. I really want to know what happened.
I have a question, and that might help our listeners if they're old like me. Wait, I'm not old.
No, you're not.
What do you mean when you say sus? Do you mean suspicious?
Suspicious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, this
That is
case,
very sus.
this case is fucking scary though, because
Yeah.
it just because there's other cops involved, this is what happens.
Yeah. But I was thinking as well, like, if I would be on the jury, like, even though I didn't like her from the beginning, I thought her demeanor and behavior was off. It doesn't matter how much I hate a person or dislike them, the evidence was not enough, you know? There was not enough evidence to put her away. And the evidence was all over the place. And it's too bad that they did not bring out enough to point at the police department. Of course, it's not going to happen. So yeah, but go and watch the documentary if you haven't seen it. It's really, I was really hooked on it. I think it's 3 episodes.
Yeah, it's called A Body in the Snow on HBO. But also, if you just search for Karen Reed, it will come up.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the show notes.
yeah. And she's now a free woman since 2 weeks. Or well, she's been free, but you know she was put on bail and everything like that. But 2 weeks ago, she's free. So yeah,
I do have to say though, I don't think she did it, but something feels a little bit weird when it comes to her as well.
yeah. She knows something. I don't know.
Yeah, she knows something, I feel like, but I don't think she did it. But there's something, I don't know, it's just, this case has been messing with my head so much. I just cannot put the pieces together. I'm sure she didn't do it. I'm sure something happened in the basement at Brian Albert's house, but she knows something because something feels off with her as well.
Yeah, what if they're all in it?
Yeah, but why would they throw her under the bus if they're all in on it?
What?
Or they didn't tell her that, yeah, we're gonna throw you under the bus, but this, yeah.
Yeah, or they didn't think that she would get convicted.
Yeah,
And then people tried to fuck her over with the backlight and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they thought, oh, there's no evidence. We'll just say it's you. Well, they'll investigate you because you're the girlfriend. But
Yeah. But also the fact that a lot of witnesses said that she had been saying, I did it, I hit him, or whatever, you know. And when they asked her in the documentary, she's like, I don't think I said that. She didn't. She was very like, you know, I was drunk. I don't know if I said that. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, you know. But either way, I didn't do it. So it was like, okay.
She was
it could
hinting a
mean
little
a
bit.
number of things anyway.
Yeah.
She was hinting a little bit more at like, maybe I said like, could I have hit him? Like being scared that she was drunk. Maybe she didn't realize that she did it. But yeah, no, I don't think she did. Because his wounds, he would have had some broken bones or something, I feel like, and not like lacerations on his arm and 2 black eyes just from her accidentally backing into him. I don't know.
Also, yeah, you're accidentally, when you're backing up, you don't have the speed as when you're going forward. So, I mean, you need to really hit someone hard to kill them.
Yeah.
And then she'd still have to move the body, right?
Yeah, and you don't get like lacerations or bite marks on your arm from that. And that's what they were saying, the witnesses. This is impossible. This is not from a car, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all a mystery.
Very strange, but I will watch it. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, you should. But I do think the documentary could have included even more, because I've been reading online and finding more information about this where I've just been like, what the actual fuck have they been doing?
Yeah.
But I don't know, it just makes me think as well, like, what if you could just be at the wrong place at the wrong time? And I got some very suspicious Google searches. So I mean, like,
I think about that all the time.
Yeah, right?
That's something I'm like, oh my God, are they going to pull this?
Yeah, like sometimes when I'm also, like sometimes it's just that you're watching a documentary like this one and then you Google yourself, like, oh, how to get rid of a dead body or whatever. What if you happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time? And then they're like, why the fuck did you Google this?
Yeah, let's put you in jail. But I don't think they can convict you solely on a Google search, but I could be wrong.
No.
Yeah,
But it's something.
I don't trust the justice system,
Me neither.
especially not when you're a woman either.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, yes, it probably didn't help that they were all in the police, but yeah, no, because they knew. This keeps reminding me of that case in Spain, in Barcelona, because it's what if they had this argument, but she was there too? Did the guy kill them, but she was also there? So
Yeah.
and they know what to do. They know what to say, like to manipulate the investigation, because also they know they're police people. They know that if you don't do the proper like process during the investigation when you first arrive at the scene, a lot of the evidence can be found inadmissible in court, because you could say, oh, this has been tampered with, you know?
Yeah.
Like they do with rape kits and stuff. And they're like, if somebody jumps one of the steps, they can be like, oh no, but this didn't happen and this could have been changed, and therefore my client is not guilty. They know the system.
Anyway, it's gonna eat me up, and we're never gonna have the answers, probably. Well, for sure not.
I hope someone's gonna speak up at some point. The conscience cannot take it anymore, or they find something. I don't fucking know. But no, I'm sure Brian Albert had something to do with it. And Jen McCabe, she knows 100%. That's the friend and sister-in-law of Brian Albert. But yeah.
All right. Do you have anything more to say about it?
No, I was just gonna say, I swear with my luck, I'm gonna get framed someday.
Don't say that.
That's why we need to delete
our group chat. That's why we need to delete.
Oh my god.
delete it. They can still get it because it's backed up on the server, on WhatsApp server.
Exactly. And then they're gonna be like, why the fuck did you delete it?
Yeah. Why did you say that you hate all men and you want to kill them all?
Okay, but then if they can do that, why does it matter if that dude threw his phone out of the window?
Yeah, you would think. I was thinking about that too, but
Oh, it does matter. So delete the group chat.
Yeah, if it happens, they can just go back and listen to this episode and they will understand why. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
right.
Subscribe. Follow.
All right. Well, do we want to move on to douche of the week?
Let's do it.
Douche of the week. Douche of the week.
Maybe Natalie, you want to go first because I'm gonna piggyback on yours.
Yeah, I know you will.
No, I'm gonna piggyback on yours.
Okay, we're all gonna have the same one, and it's P Diddy.
Yes, P Diddy is gonna be the douche of the week.
And the guy that ghosted Natalie too.
Yeah.
Mr. Curaçao.
And the guy that goes to you.
Yeah, that's right. Fucking piggybacking.
Yeah, no, but P Diddy is, because he got his verdict today, guys. Do you
I don't
know the
it.
verdict?
No, I don't. Please tell.
We're not gonna like this one. So there was 5 counts, 2 counts for transportation for prostitution, 1 count for racketeering conspiracy, and 2 counts for sex trafficking. Now, if you would guess, he got guilty 2 out of 5. Which 2 do you think he got guilty?
I already know, so I'm not gonna guess.
Go ahead, tell.
No, you guess, Natalie. Which ones do you think he would?
I already know.
Not you, Natalie. You, Nadia. Nadia, I'm sorry.
I didn't pay attention to when Natalie was saying the.
Oh my god.
Of course she didn't. Okay, he was found.
You okay? Go on.
Okay, go on. He was found guilty for transportation for prostitution, which is the
least, the lowest.
Yeah, the lowest. Yeah.
How does he get found guilty twice of the same thing is what I don't understand.
There were 2 counts for it.
As in 2 different...
Yeah, exactly.
Reasons.
That's it?
So he was found not guilty for racketeering and sex trafficking.
Wow.
Which were the 2 heaviest ones. If he would have been found guilty for those 2, he would have gone to prison for life. Now, the max amount he can get is 20 years.
He's gonna get a slap on the wrist. He's gonna get 1 year,
5 years.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then parole and then be out.
Exactly. First of all, he's not gonna get 20 years. That's what they're gonna try for, but it's not gonna happen. And then he's gonna get out early on good behavior. 100%.
If he then goes in, because he might
Yeah, that as well.
Like
If he
house
even-
arrest or some shit, and
Exactly.
in however many years he comes out or comes back, he's gonna make a comeback and be like, play the victim, like every fucking abuser, and be like, oh, my career was on hold or blee 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 blee, and he's just gonna get back in business and in the industry like nothing fucking happened.
Yeah, he's gonna throw a big fucking party again, and people are gonna be stupid and go to it.
And he's just gonna be more careful. He's gonna
Yeah.
make people sign more NDAs. He's gonna
Throw around more money,
but nothing's gonna change.
have more cameras so he can get more shit on people. You know, this is gonna be nothing for him. He's gonna bounce back in no time. Fucking disgusting.
Douche.
I'm so mad about it because I really thought he was gonna be found guilty for the sex trafficking and racketeering, but nope.
All these weeks for that, like, fuck off. No. Or
Yeah,
months.
I want to know these people that were on the jury,
Yeah, what the fuck?
and I want to scold them. I want to yell at them and be like, "What the actual fuck?"
Maybe they got offered some shit or
Yeah.
something, right? I mean,
Who knows?
All right, so that's douche of the week for all of us.
Yeah. Who has a
the
queen
guy
of
who
the week?
ghosted Natalie.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who ghosted me. It's not
Okay.
for others.
So, queen of the week.
Queen of the week. Queen of the week. Queen of the week.
And I'll go first.
Yes, you go first.
Yes. Maybe you guys know Glastonbury, I think you call it, the festival in the UK. It's in the UK,
Yes,
right?
I'm
Oh
from
yeah.
Glastonbury.
What did you say?
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury, yeah. G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what you said, it was just funny that you thought we didn't know it.
Yeah, but some people don't, but yeah. So I think it was a few days ago, last weekend, I don't know when, but recently. So there was a band
That the weekend.
last weekend, right?
Yeah.
So there was a band called Bob Villain. So not Dylan, Bob Villain with a V,
Yeah.
which is an English punk rap duo. Never heard of them, but I saw their performance, and their whole performance was live streamed through BBC as well. And in the beginning, so the main guy, he said as well, like, oh, this is being live streamed, we have to be careful what we say. And then fast forward, he was chanting, because people were there with Palestinian flags and whatnot. So he started chanting free, free Palestine. But he also chanted death to the IDF. And you have to look it up. It's really like death to the IDF, you know, very like harsh, which is great. However, he's being cancelled now, or they're being cancelled. Their performances are being cancelled. Their visa in the States, or his visa, was withdrawn. And yeah, I think it's really, really sad to see people speaking up. I mean, sure, death to the IDF is quite harsh, but if we're not allowed to stand up for what is wrong, then this happens.
And I swear to God, if it was the other way around, that they were saying, oh, free Israel, fuck Palestinians, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think, maybe it would be a slap on the wrist, but I don't think it would be as harsh as it is now.
There were other bands.
It wouldn't be a slap on the wrist. It would be nothing.
Yeah, there were other
But
bands.
I mean, slap on the wrist as in basically nothing compared to at least maybe some people that maybe they would get one show cancelled or whatever, but the rest would just go on as fucking normal.
No, but there were other bands that were chanting free, free Palestine as well, and nothing happened to them. But I think it was the fact that death to the IDF, and they were very strong with their message, and they're being cancelled completely. Their shows are being cancelled now, and the withdrawal of the visa is really, really harsh as well.
An argument in support of them online is if death to the IDF is considered anti-Semitic, shouldn't death to Hamas be considered Islamophobic? Which, and
You
they
would
might
think.
yeah.
But that's not how it works, apparently, because Hamas is a terrorist group. And IDF is not.
A government funded.
So, I mean, do I agree with all of this? No, but that's how they see it, basically. It's not. I just get pissed off about these things.
Anyway, so they
are your kings.
Yeah.
And that's a good one. And I do kind of want to piggyback on that, but I haven't seen it.
No, you need to watch
Who's your king or queen, Amandine?
I'm still thinking. Do you want to go first?
No. I wanted to hear yours first.
I need to think. I have one on the tip of my tongue, I think.
On the tip of your tongue.
I feel like something nice has happened with the man. Oh, it doesn't have to be a man, but in my case, now it is a man this week. And I thought, but I can't remember. Who's your queen of the week, Natalie?
I don't have one. I don't know what to say. I could say a king.
Pause without pressure. Say it.
You know the cop from Squid Game?
I was just thinking about Squid Game, and I thought it's weird if I pick player 456 for saving the baby. No spoiler, I haven't seen the end. I have 2 episodes there.
Oh.
But isn't that nice for him to like take the baby and look at the AI baby? Like,
but the cop from Squid Game, Wee Ha-jun,
right?
He is so hot.
Right.
I want him.
I mean, he's hot, but I think
you're more into
hot.
Yeah, I think he's hot too, but he's not really my type.
Even the salesman, like that Nadia's obsessed with.
Yes, the front man is also so hot.
Yes, but he's also hot. And to be honest, I'm also at times into 456 because kindness is sexy.
Yeah, and from season 3, season 2 and season 3, I can't remember his name and I don't know his name in real life, but player 333.
I need.
I said it.
So hot.
I don't think you're there yet in the series, Amandine.
No.
One scene, I'm like, oh, damn, this guy is good.
Yeah.
Like, his eyes and just the way he's acting is like, whoa.
Because he's not my favorite person right now, but the VIPs are terrible actors on there.
Yeah, they're butchering them online. But I think what they're saying online is that they added, how do you call it? They what do you call it when you add sound on?
Dubbed.
They dubbed it, which is super weird because they're speaking English, but they say they added the English dubbing on top of it, even though they were speaking English. I don't know. It was really weird.
But we're going off topic. But okay, king. Not just kings. Like all of the men from Squid Game, just because they're hot,
less Korean
and talented.
Yeah, and the women are also queens.
Yeah, the women too.
And the baby.
Fair. Yeah, the CGI baby.
Yeah, that sucks, huh? Spoiler alert. My king of the week. I don't know why I wanted to be a king this week.
Sometimes you just gotta go for a king.
Yeah, I know. I really wanted to be a king. I have my king of the week, and I might be very boring, but it's Pedro Pascal.
God.
I mean, he's a safe bet, right? If you don't have anyone else, just go to Pedro.
Yes. I need to go see Materialists. I think it's out. And
same.
I really want rom-com. Oh, maybe I should go on a date and watch that.
I did hear it was kind of a disappointment, though. But I think people just had very high hopes for it. And if you already have really high hopes, it's bigger chance of it being a disappointment. But I love Dakota Johnson and I love Pedro Pascal, so I think I'm gonna like it.
Yes.
I already know who she chooses in the movie though, which sucks. Someone fucking spoiled it online.
I mean, I think I know because I've seen discussions about it online, but
yeah,
I don't know. No, I'm still we'll see. All right.
That's it. Thank you.
That's a wrap.
Love you, guys.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Big T Energy Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and review. Find us in between episodes on TikTok and Instagram at Big T Energy Podcast. See you next time.
Don't be obsessive, it could be intensive, it could be explosive, it could be offensive. Don't be defensive, don't be aggressive, it will be a waste cause we could be expensive.
You know, I wanted to tell you, the squid, I'm not gonna spoil, but it was spoiled for me days before, and not because I saw a spoiler on social media, but I was scrolling on TikTok, and I always go into the comments on TikTok to read what people say. And this had nothing to do with Squid Game, but some idiot or idiots are on TikTok writing out the ending of Squid Game on every fucking TikTok.
No. Oh, what a sad life you have if you want to ruin this for everybody.
I saw that days before I even started watching. I'm like, fuck you, man. Like, this sucks.
Fuck you. I think this should be included in the episode as a tiny outro.